Welcome to the Two Fat Guys and an Album podcast, your weekly dive into iconic albums and our search for the modern classics. This pod is bigger than a Cadillac. We'll do the show, but you'll need something back. Your love for this album has got to be real. You're going to know just how we feel. Our love is real, not fade away. Not fade away. So, whose album am I talking about? The 1964 Rolling Stones song? The 1966 Rare Cuts and Oddities album by the Grateful Dead? No. We are going way back to the original, the 1957 album Chirping Crickets by Buddy Holly and the Crickets. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more album reviews, in-depth discussions, and music analysis from two fat guys who love talking about music no matter the genre. I am Mike Blackburn. I'll be your host and narrator, and with me, as always, the maestro of music, the siren of sound, the doctor of the diminished chord, my good friend Brek Hufnus. Good day, maestro.
Good day.
Welcome to the pod, episode 22.
22. It's one more than 21.
That is right. We are still alive.
Yep.
Yeah. Unlike
27 concerns me.
Oh, good poll. Good
Yeah,
poll.
okay,
Very
all right.
nice. All right, so do we have any messes to clean up on aisle 5 from last week?
Well, I don't know if you recall. You had a lot of questions last week.
I did.
And they were good questions. Questions I did not know the answer to.
Yeah.
So
we were talking about the specifically, are you talking about the Graceland album by Paul Simon?
well, last week we talked about Graceland by Paul Simon and the Milk Carton Kids
Milk Carton
Prelude.
Kids. Yep.
A fantastic show.
Yeah.
Two great albums. So there's, but there were the questions you asked. I think were unrelated to any of those. No, I take it back. Okay,
Sounds like me.
you asked. So in the "You Can Call Me Al" video by Paul Simon.
Yep.
Paul Simon plays a little. Well, he pretends to play a penny whistle.
Paul Simon or Chevy Chase?
I looked it up because I thought it would have been a Chevy Chase thing,
Yeah.
but it was actually a Paul Simon
Well,
thing.
all right.
Yeah, it seemed zany, and
Sure.
but
Wacky.
Paul
Yep.
Simon pretended to play it, and the penny whistle does, of course, appear
Yeah.
on the song "You Can Call Me Al,"
It does.
played by a real musician.
I think Paul Simon's a real musician.
That's true. I don't. That came out wrong. But I'm not sure if he's a penny whistler.
Yeah, sure.
So the penny whistle, it's just that little thing. You hear it in Irish music quite a bit.
Yep.
I mean, it's a kind of a folk instrument.
Yeah.
You know. How much do you think a penny whistle costs these days?
More than a recorder?
It does cost more than a recorder. It's very similar to a recorder, actually. These days, much like at the dollar store, I don't think you can get anything for less than $5.
Yeah.
A penny whistle is
Not a penny?
in the door, $10.
Really?
Yeah, if you want a really good penny whistle, it'll cost you $30.
And how big are these?
Well, you saw. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
12
so
inches. Let's say 12 inches.
All right.
Yeah, they're not huge.
No. But they're not like kazoo size.
No. They're bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably pretty similar to a recorder.
Got it.
Maybe, yeah. It depends. Maybe if you got the bass penny whistle, it'd be a little larger. So that. Okay, that's one.
Mm-hmm.
Check one off.
Yep.
You asked me about Phil Collins' drum sound.
Yeah.
Do you remember the context of that?
Yeah. Well, it was. It shows up a couple of times in a couple of different songs. I'd have to go back and look.
Okay.
But
On
it's
the
a
Graceland
very
album.
yes, it's a very distinctive sound
Very
that
distinctive.
seems to have gotten. And the only reason I brought it up is because it seems to be, once Phil Collins did it, it seems to like pop up in every album somebody's doing it. It was a whole thing for like 5 years.
Oh, that's because it did, right.
yeah.
Yeah, between that and certain keyboard sounds, you can pretty much identify the music of the era by those
Sure.
sounds because
Yeah.
they were everywhere.
I just called it a Phil Collins drum sound.
I think that's a really good name for it. I think everybody would know what that means. So the way that you get the Phil Collins sound, okay, and I think when you had asked me, I said, oh, you just put some reverb on it and things like that, but it's more than that. It's gated reverb. That's
Gated?
Gated, like a gate.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way, I'll come back to that.
Like a gate.
It is. Like the thing by your house that you walk in and out of outside.
Usually a bad definition is when you actually use the word.
Okay,
but go on.
No, now I want to know how you would define a gate. It's Go ahead.
Like a door and a fence.
Okay, so this reverb it's a gated reverb, like a door on a fence.
Nice. Sure.
Jeez.
Got the good visual.
Great. Boy.
It's going to be a long show.
So that was completely accidental, coming up with that sound. Phil Collins was playing on Peter Gabriel's third album, his solo album, but they brought it's the Melt album.
Oh, okay.
And the first song on that album is Intruder, and it starts with the Phil Collins drum sound.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my notes say 1973, but that can't be correct.
Be right.
It must be 1983.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, there's no way. So, anyways,
that'll be like a double nugget.
That'll be a double nugget.
You got to go back to correct a nugget you corrected.
But it is the Peter Gabriel 3 Melt album, and the song is Intruder, and it starts with a drum solo, and Phil Collins is playing on that session, and there's what's called a talkback mic. So if you're in a recording studio, you've seen pictures or movies or something where the producers and the engineers are sitting behind a pane of glass,
sure.
Right? And then the band
button.
isn't. Yeah,
they press a button and they talk.
Right, and they talk so that they're able to talk to the band.
Yeah.
Well, they had left.
So that's we need more cowbell.
Stuff like
button.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
And so they left the talkback mic on by accident and captured him practicing and decided that they had just discovered something really awesome. So the actual effect, gated reverb, it has reverb in it, which is just like an echo. Okay. Yeah. Compression, which means you try to make the loudness the same. Okay, so if you play an instrument or talk or have singers, some people might be louder, things might be softer. When you imagine striking a drum, the beginning of the sound would probably be loud, but then there's a little bit of a fade, what's called a decay.
Yep.
Right?
Sure.
And so with compression, they actually sort of reverse that. You make the loud sound softer and the soft sounds louder. And then the gate means when it gets to a certain loudness, it cuts off the sound.
Got it.
Like slicing a loaf of bread. You
Sure.
know? So that's those three things, the reverb, the compression, and the noise gate, create that Phil Collins sound.
Crazy.
Yep. And they discovered it completely by accident, and it became massive.
A thing.
It became his signature. All right. I got one more for you.
Okay.
Okay. You had asked me about Billy Strings' guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I went to see
Oh,
Billy
sure.
Strings, by the way. I don't know if that needs to get moved to the What's Going On segment or not, but happened to see Billy Strings last weekend. But you asked a really good question about that, like how does he get that sound out of his guitar?
Well, it in the video I was watching, somebody was like playing an electric guitar, and as I was looking for it, there was no electric guitar, and the only guitar in the group was Billy Strings.
Right.
With what looked like a standard acoustic guitar.
Right. Yep. And this is, to be clear, not a produced music video, but a video of a live performance.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because the music videos, you can do anything you want with a music video. And when you had asked me, I said, oh, yeah, he runs it through some pedals to make his acoustic sound like an electric guitar. And he does. I mean, that was, in short, the short answer. That's what it is. But the full answer is he uses an acoustic guitar.
Mm-hmm.
An acoustic guitar is hollow, and it has an opening in the middle. And when
Right,
you
right,
play the
right,
strings, the box of the guitar is what amplifies it,
Sure.
right? And that gives you your acoustic sound. And an electric guitar, you have what's pickups, which are sort of like little microphones. But in this case, they're added to his acoustic guitar. They read the vibrations of the soundboard.
Got it.
So in order to get his electric guitar sound, he has what you call pickups installed inside the guitar that feel the vibrations and convert those vibrations into electrical sound impulses that can then be manipulated by pedals and such.
So he has a guitar that he can switch between acoustic and electric.
Yes, he does. And he has so he has two things going on. Well, okay, let me back up just one. There is such a thing as an acoustic electric guitar that's fairly normal.
Okay.
Okay, that's not that unusual. And when you play it, it mostly sounds like an amplified acoustic guitar.
Got it.
Okay, so an acoustic electric doesn't really sound like a Fender Stratocaster. It just sounds like a louder acoustic guitar as if you had a microphone on it. Okay.
Got it.
He runs it though, so he has a switch on his guitar. He has both of things at the same time. He mics his acoustic sound,
Mm-hmm.
and he has these pickups that I just described that run through pedal boards and things like that. He has 21 plus pedals, a T-Rex Soulmate acoustic multi-effects pedal, a Kemper amp profile. Like his setup, pretty serious. Yeah, he's not messing around. His sounds are very, very specific. And so the thing that makes it interesting, really interesting though, is not just that he can make his acoustic sound like an electric, but that he has them both going at the same time. And he literally has a switch on the side of the guitar that he can turn off. Like he can make it only acoustic, he can make it only electric, and then I think he can make it both acoustic and electric at the same time. It gives him a really kind of a unique sound.
It's crazy.
I'd go on forever with this.
No. I think you got it. I think that's crazy. I've never I don't know that much about instruments, but I've never heard of.
I think it's unique to him. Like everything that I'm describing, he didn't invent, but the combining the two is actually pretty unique.
And it's probably just because it's a guitar he's very comfortable with, shape-wise.
Yes. Yeah, he has his. It's a Preston Thompson acoustic guitar. Preston Thompson's a brand, and that's his favorite guitar. And he's got another guitar that was, and I don't have the guy's name in front of me, but it was Willie Nelson's guitarist who passed away. And he has that guitar, was somehow gifted to him or he acquired it. So those are his two, and I want to say that's a Martin, but it's off the top of my head. And people got all over him for changing that guitar, because that's a classic guitar, the one that Willie Nelson's guy had.
Yeah, sure.
But he said this guitar had been on the road, and it had a lot of road wear on it, and it needed a full overhaul. So he just made it the same as his other one. And so, different guitars make different sounds, and he's more of an acoustic guitar player.
So I wonder how the difference in a layman's eyes is the belly, the width of the guitar. It's a thicker, fuller instrument than an electric guitar.
Yes.
And I wonder if that's just a comfort thing.
No, it's a sound thing.
Well, no, I get it, but if he's more comfortable with a full-body guitar than a thin little acoustic electric
so
guitar.
Here's an interesting point, since you brought it up. The night before I saw him, he Panic at the Disco was playing a concert, and he showed up to that concert in Chicago and jammed with them on an electric guitar.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I assume he can play anything, but yeah,
right.
just comfort is all
Well,
I'm
I
talking
think comfort, it's comfortable like an old pair of shoes. It's
Yeah.
comfortable. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's your
exactly.
instrument. You feel it,
Mhm.
and you could swap it all out and everything, and you could still play it. But it's not just like the size of the body, but where the frets are located and they're not all the same. And so you have a specific instrument that you like a lot, and you're good to go. You know, that's what he
got
likes
it,
to use.
got it.
But if you want to hear Billy Strings play, like whatever Panic in the Punk, like pop punk,
Right.
okay,
Sure, pop punk. Yeah.
guitar, check him out on YouTube. You can just YouTube it, and it's pretty interesting. I will say he's competent, but it's not the same. Like he is a bluegrass
Sure.
guitarist.
Yeah. Mhm.
So they're like two different languages. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like he
yeah,
knows
exactly.
the bluegrass language inside and out, but he does a very nice job. It's really interesting to hear him play with Panic in
Yeah.
the Disco.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Very cool. Well, I got one topic before we dive into the album that I've been sort of fascinated by, and that is kind of the concept of we have done in a lot of these albums that we cover, because we're either talking about an older group of people or because of tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of death. So we covered the
Yes.
Doors with Jim Morrison.
Right.
We're about to do
Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
So we've run across.
So spoiler alert, he died at the age of 22 in a plane crash.
Yeah, in 1959.
Yes.
Yeah. I was fascinated to know, and I've always been curious how death affects the legacy of a band. If it amplifies their presence.
Okay.
So did Kurt Cobain committing suicide elevate Nirvana? Lift them up beyond being just another grunge band into the stratosphere that you think about Nirvana.
Okay. Are you asking me my opinion on this?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Because you're going to say some dribbling nonsense about, greatness is greatness or something like that. But I actually, there was an article done in the Journal of Music and Entertainment Industry Educators Association.
Easy for you to say.
Right.
Tell me this again.
It's the Journal of Music and Entertainment Industry Educator Association.
Did you go to the college library?
Yeah,
read
it
this?
is Belmont Library, Belmont College.
Yeah.
Did this.
Okay.
The authors are.
So this sounds
are,
like an actual journal, an actual
Yeah.
academic article.
So it's volume 19, number 1 from 2019. The two authors are from the University of Texas at San
Did you
Antonio.
see it on microfiche?
No, but that would have been cool.
Yeah.
And it's music, death, and profits, variable contributing to surges in sales after an artist's death.
All right.
So, just
Hit me with the research.
the stat to begin with is when Prince died, his sales in the following months were up 16,000%.
Okay.
So, the one of the conclusions, and you saw that tragic death was much bigger spikes than somebody just passing away.
Okay. Yeah, it was sudden. It wasn't like from old age.
Right.
Or
So
something.
sudden death, overdoses,
Sure.
accidental. We'll just classify them as accidental deaths.
Okay.
Which is fascinating because the music we're talking, you and I talk about both, in the first half and second half of the show, the tragic deaths all kind of get categorized as accidental, which is drug overdose. There's a certain amount of death from cancer or whatever. But
Yes.
that's kind of clear across the board across all genres.
Okay.
but in classic rock, punk, um,
There's a
post-punk,
certain risk factor to being in that line of work.
line of work, but it's mainly drug overdoses and suicide, probably caused by drug dependency,
Okay.
if not some mental health.
And this is
issue.
coming from the journal article.
The journal article.
Okay, great.
And then the on
Because
like,
I'm so used to responding to your random opinion.
I know. Well, that's why I'm like,
Yeah, no, great. We got an actual go. Yeah, somebody
And-
did some research.
And then, interestingly enough, when you get into rap and hip hop, the accidental category moves over to homicide.
Right.
You know, more of them are more people in those categories of music are murdered than drug overdose.
Okay.
Which is so. Talking about this, that's basically what we're talking about is drug overdoses or suicide caused by drug dependencies or mental health issues.
But they all fall under of sudden
Sudden passing.
death. Yes.
You know, different from so the secondary album we're actually doing today is by Tragically Hip, who also had their lead singer pass away, but it was cancer.
Right.
Right. So a little bit different.
But I will say and then this is okay, kind of where again putting things in boxes always throws me off a little bit because even in the totally
'Cause you
legitimate
can't make up the answer.
even the totally legitimate research article that you've somehow have stumbled across, Gord Downey's death was also pretty sudden and pretty traumatic. Like he had brain cancer and
very
I think
fast.
and he went I think it within a year, and so there was a great sense of loss when he passed as well, I would say.
Absolutely, but it was slower than a plane crash.
Yes, there's undeniable.
All right. So the conclusion was that the sudden death creates lasting fame and creates a cultural narrative.
Well, I guess you have the end of the story.
Right. So it builds up. It builds them up.
Sure.
So.
And I remember when Elvis passed away.
We were
in 10, 11.
7th grade, maybe 6th grade, 5th grade.
Yeah,
77.
I don't know how old I was in 77, but yeah, that's the year. I mean, I know how old I was. I don't know what grade I was in.
Aren't you the educator? Don't you deal with like that?
I'm a musician. I can count to 4.
That should be a T-shirt. Chauncey, work on that.
So, but when he died suddenly of a heart attack of more or less natural causes.
Yeah. We can go with that.
Yeah, I mean, there were extenuating factors, but it was a heart attack.
Right. Nobody would have been surprised if he was still alive the next day.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
But I remember, like, the incident happened. They were playing Elvis tributes 24 hours on the radio. And still to this day, his fame has been multiplied.
Well, he was huge. Like, Michael Jackson was huge. Prince was huge.
They were already... Well, and that was the point I was going to bring up when you first said this about Nirvana, say. They were already huge. So do people go out and act as you said? Do they go out and listen to their music more? Do they buy their stuff? I mean, it's probably an act of mourning more than anything else.
But does that story create a lasting fame that goes beyond their talent is what I'm curious about. Did the Doors become bigger than they deserve because he's dead?
I tend to disagree with that.
I didn't say one way or another. I'm asking the question.
No.
You
mean, asked the question. I'm saying no, I don't believe that's... So is there a burst of popularity? Do they get some sort of legendary status because you wonder what might have been or what could have been? I mean, for sure. I mean, I'm not denying any of that. But I think Nirvana would have been Nirvana no matter what. Elvis was already Elvis. And I agree. Like, he was blown up 20-fold after his death, but he was still Elvis and was always going to be Elvis.
So correct, and so Prince is Prince, and Michael Jackson's Michael Jackson, and you have
they didn't become Prince after they died.
correct, but there are people like Janis Joplin, and Janis Joplin and Jim Morrison, Hendrix. That's all kind of before
Right.
Elvis is probably the earliest death that I really remember of
That makes of a major star.
major rock star
Sure,
that
I believe
would
that. Yeah.
that I would know. So
Right.
and then I mean at some point the
Well, John Lennon.
was 80, right? And
Yeah.
then I mean somewhere you had the Leonard Skinner crash, and
Which I think was earlier.
I want to say that was
think that
I don't
was-
remember some of that stuff.
Yeah, I remember Randy Rhoads from
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne's band.
Yeah. So I don't know if I mean the closest example I would have to Joplin and Jim Morrison would be Kurt Cobain.
Right.
And I mean Kurt Cobain. I can't even place myself in the position of before he passed.
Right.
So I at some point fell in love with the MTV
Yes.
Unplugged.
The Unplugged was spectacular.
Version of that, but I honestly recall whether I found that before or after he passed away.
Yeah, I actually have really clear memories of it. But to me, and it's actually going to come up when we talk about the album review a little bit as well. Nirvana wasn't on my map. I knew about them.
Yeah.
Exactly,
though. But yes.
But even though they had created this new, like, to me, grunge wasn't a completely new sound. It just wasn't. It didn't impact me but kids felt the impact of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew lots of kids who were into it, and it was very important to them. But I was not really into Nirvana itself. I was floored by the Unplugged.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that came out before his death.
I would,
But I can't say for sure. But I don't think to just stick to the topic a bit, I don't think his death made me like him more or less. I think the Unplugged made me appreciate him a lot more.
But did that move that spotlight, and to this report, create a lasting fame and creates a cultural narrative? That's, did his suicide make Nirvana bigger than Nirvana would have been? And we don't really know the answer.
You'll never know, unless you go to a
so
parallel
that-
universe and find it
So
out.
that I think is something I've always been kicking around.
Yeah, it's an interesting question.
Especially because we're about to drop the needle on somebody who, as you said, died at 22.
Yes. Yep.
Who was in the process of changing music.
Exactly.
So, and I think that's a good place to drop the needle.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rock. In the red corner, an album that needs no introduction. Ranked number 420 by Rolling Stone. This album was released in the US in 1957 and reached number 5 in the UK in 1958. It is the debut and only album released by rock and roll pioneers and Hall of Famers The Crickets in the legendary Buddy Holly's lifetime. This is the Chirping Crickets. And in the blue corner, two fat guys. This is Two Fat Guys and an album.
Buddy Holly and the Crickets. A band, an artist who began kind of a lot of what we talk about, or at least was a huge building block on the path to the rock era.
Massive.
Yep. It's amazing when you listen to other artists who fall into the classic rock world talk about their influences. He comes up as a major part. I found it interesting. I stumbled across an interview by Dylan when Dylan was still pretty young and understandable when he talked.
Yes.
And he was talking about that he saw Dylan in Duluth
2 nights before.
2 nights before the plane crash.
Exactly.
And how he was just floored and blown away, and how, what he was witnessing had changed everything in his life, and he thought in music.
Yep.
And it really had. So,
Yeah, I don't want to jump. Yeah, just Paul McCartney and Keith Richards
yeah.
have both said the Beatles would not exist without Buddy Holly, and the Rolling Stones would
sure.
not
Absolutely.
have existed
Absolutely.
without Buddy Holly.
Yeah. Which is a fascinating tribute. So we're talking about Chirping Crickets.
Yes. So can I correct you here on this for a minute? Because
We're not talking about Chirping Crickets?
No, we are. But sorry to scare you like that. But you've said a couple times we're doing Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
Mm-hmm.
And actually at this time it wasn't Buddy Holly and the Crickets. It's just the Crickets.
Okay.
Yeah. So this.
Oh, so this is there's a legal thing here.
There's a legal thing here.
Yeah.
Right.
So he couldn't record as
under his name. Right.
Yeah.
And so they formed a band, and they were going to call it the Beatles, B-E-E. They were, for some reason, there was like a plague of insects that had hit Texas, like West Texas. And he's from Lubbock, since you just throw that in there. And so they were inspired to use cricket names. And one of the names they were going to be was the Beatles, B-E-T-L-E-S. They were also toyed with being the Hollies, which later became a band.
The Hollies.
So both bands named themselves in tribute to the Crickets.
Yeah.
Both the Beatles and the Hollies, obviously, to Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
So and having said that, and why it's not just a little nugget, it's actually a big nugget. The Crickets are considered the first rock band.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I was actually talking to one of my coworkers who happened to be from and speaking from Lubbock.
Oh, okay.
Earlier in the week before we recorded this, and he's a fan of the pod, like everybody should.
Yep.
Hit that subscribe button, like it. And he said they called themselves the story that's circulating in Lubbock is they call themselves the Crickets because in one of their recordings, and we talked about
there was a cricket.
There was a cricket.
Right, and I think that's probably the rest of the story.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's
no.
what
I think there's truth to that as well.
So.
They were already searching for an insect,
Yeah.
and the cricket, I believe,
Yeah.
is how they finally settled on it. So I think I concur. I think that matches my story actually.
Yeah. So there's I have a trip coming up down there next month or so, which might be this month. And I'll have to go get a picture
at the Buddy Holly Museum
or the grave or
something.
I assume he's buried in Lubbock.
bet.
Yeah. Okay. So we begin this segment usually by talking about the band. So you want to talk about the Crickets?
Yeah, we can give it a rundown. I will say after he died, so this album originally came out as The Crickets, the title of the album, The Chirping Crickets. Okay, but it was re-released in the early 60s, and at that time they changed the name to Buddy Holly and the Crickets. So capitalizing, I suppose, off of his... They made him the front man when in fact he wasn't at the time.
So he had done some recordings as a solo artist.
He had done recordings as a solo artist. He had started
with a
off
different record company, a different label.
Right. He had started off as Buddy and Bob, I believe, is what it was called, and so we're getting off of the Crickets story here, but he had started off as a country singer, as a country duo, and
with him and Ringo.
With him and it could. Let me check. But
go back.
I don't know why
for that reference.
I don't know why Ringo's not allowed to sing country music.
He's absolutely
It seems
number one hit, huh? Number one album.
Number one album in the UK on multiple charts. So
Yowza.
and now you got me off track. I don't know what you're doing. He was recording. He had gotten into a. So okay. He was doing Buddy. Yeah, exactly. So he's Buddy and Bob. He's a country act duo, and he ends up opening for Elvis Presley a couple times. Okay, in the early, I'm going to say 1954 because I don't have it completely in front of me, but I think if I have a moment to dig, I could find it. And so he sees the crowd reaction to this and decides he wants to be a rock star. Forget this country stuff.
Yeah.
He sees the girls screaming. I mean,
Right,
Elvis.
No, yeah.
We've
We've seen the videos.
Yeah, at this time, Elvis is it's not quite Presley mania yet. Okay, but every place he goes, the girls are screaming, people are going crazy. And he's opening for this, and he sees it, and he's like, that's what I want to do. And he instantly, almost overnight, changes to a rock band. They get a drummer. Elvis has a drummer. We need a drummer. That sort of a thing. You can even hear some Elvis affectations in his singing on some of the songs.
So were any of the Crickets in his first band?
No. So he signed. So the record company, Decca Records, who famously did not sign the Beatles. That's the record company that said no to the Beatles, and then had to sign the Rolling Stones to cover up for their this massive blunder.
No, that's
But Decca Records had invited Buddy and Bob, and they did a session. They did some things. And it became obvious at that point that they really just wanted Buddy, and so Bob was.
Do we know who Bob is?
Bob Montgomery. I don't know what he does now. He's
Sells.
yeah, something like that. And so he ends up leaving. And I think it sounded like of his own accord. Like he saw the writing on the wall, and he just kind of said
didn't want to be second fiddle.
Yeah, just like go ahead.
Yep. Okay.
I think that's kind of how it went down. And then he recorded all these recordings with Decca, and I think they tried to produce them. Decca was a very big label at the time.
Yeah.
And so they were calling the shots. They were saying, this is how you're going to do it. This is how we want the songs done. We have a producer for you, all this kind of stuff. And he was just the singer. And they did a whole session, and he didn't care. He didn't like what came from it. And in fact, That'll Be the Day, one of his biggest hits, was recorded in 1956 as part of that deal. Okay. It was later released with the Crickets, possibly. You know how we talked about Taylor Swift re-recording her own material?
Right.
This might be the first time in music history that an artist has re-recorded their music to escape a bad contract in order to re-release the song under
their way.
Do it their way.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with That'll Be the Day. So the Crickets themselves are Jerry Allison, who is the drummer.
So when he was, when he
go
was
ahead.
with Elvis, he had to be like 18 years old, 17.
It would have been 54 or 55.
So he died at 59 at 22.
Yeah, so he'd been like 18 years old, say.
Yeah, wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And they had already had That'll Be the Day.
Right.
Right? So Jerry Allison was the drummer of the Crickets. I should say Buddy Holly, vocals and lead guitar. So another big thing about Buddy Holly, first of all, his vocal style is amazing. He's a wonderful singer, great energy to his voice.
Sure.
But also a fairly innovative guitar player.
Okay.
He's no Chuck Berry. I'm not going to go that with it. But but he was there. I mean, he was a pretty good guitar player for that time. Jerry Allison, the drummer, also co-wrote That'll Be the Day, and Peggy Sue had songwriting credit on that. Joe Maudlin, the bassist, later became recording engineer at Gold Star Studios. That's the hit factory in L.A., where the Wrecking Crew did a lot of their work.
Sure.
Did a lot of work with Phil Spector and Brian Wilson. And that was Joe Maudlin, the bassist from the Crickets.
So he is, according to the liner notes, is playing a double bass.
Yeah, double bass is just an upright bass. So you know what a bass
just
is. That's it. Bass, double bass. Basically, it's two words for the same thing. It's a double bass because I don't know. The way it sounds an octave lower than it's written. If it's written at a certain note that you look at, it sounds an octave lower, and they call it the double bass. But it's really the double bass and bass. If you're playing the bass guitar, even though it sounds the same, it's just called a bass.
So we talked about the Violent Femmes. He was playing a double bass.
He was playing acoustic bass.
Oh.
Yeah, he was playing an acoustic.
All right.
No, the double bass that's your upright bass that you would consider you'd see it in classical music,
but
or
every
possibly
oldies band had a guy doing
exactly.
this. Right, yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
Right. So that's the double bass.
So that's got it.
Nicky Sullivan played rhythm guitar on it.
On a bunch of songs.
And that instrumentation is actually another innovation that that Buddy Holly is credited with, is standardizing the idea of two guitars, like a lead guitar, rhythm guitar, bass, and drums, as what a rock band instrumentation was.
Yeah.
Yep. And so when you talk about like influences,
Yeah.
people coming after him like, oh, that's the instrumentation. We need to have a rock band.
Okay.
He wrote his own songs, not all of them, but a lot of them.
Yep.
And so that at the time is pretty innovative.
There's some interesting other people getting credit on this.
Okay.
On this album.
All right.
Right. I mean, there's one that really jumps out to me.
Go ahead. I mean, I hope. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're going to come up with here, so go ahead.
Well, Roy Orbison.
Oh, we're talking about songwriting.
Yeah. Well, you said writing credit.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So
as
Roy
far
Orbison gets a writing credit on a couple of these songs.
Yeah, and those are actually, I would say, probably. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I was going to say they're covers, but I'm not sure if they were first recorded by Buddy Holly or not. But yeah, Roy Orbison was another kid growing up in Texas.
Yeah.
And wrote some songs, and so he has writing credit on "You've Got Love." And he's got writing credit on An Empty Cup.
Yeah.
The other thing that's interesting is you'll notice virtually all the songs that were written by Buddy Holly, or were written in Texas, or were also credited to Norman Petty. You're going to see the name Petty as a name in the songwriting credits.
Yeah, often.
So Norman Petty was his producer and manager. And, okay.
Was he really writing songs?
No, he wasn't.
Just putting himself on there?
Yeah, so yes. That's pretty much what he did. He was
not a bad way to retire.
He was the Crickets manager, and he owned the studio, Clovis Studios in New Mexico, and I believe he was acted as the producer.
Sure.
And to his credit, Buddy Holly, when he came over and left Decca and came to this studio, had much greater success. So
right.
Norm Petty for sure helped Buddy Holly become famous and popular and all that. And he had
This allows him to double dip, though, right?
He had a very fair contract in that, like, I think he was just charging for studio time and stuff. Like he wasn't taking residuals, he wasn't taking other things that other studios might. But on the other hand, he added himself to songwriting credits and therefore got
Paid in perpetuity.
paid in perpetuity. And they were saying it's at one point Norman Petty was making more money off of the songs than Buddy Holly was. And this eventually, they found out about it and led to him basically breaking up. That's kind of how the Crickets broke up. The Crickets decided to stay back with Norman Petty, and Buddy moved on to New York for a myriad of reasons, but one of them was because his manager was stealing his money. And not to jump too far ahead, but part of the reason why he was on the tour that eventually ended in a plane crash is because he needed money. He had to go out on the road and perform. And so because he was like literally low on funds, he decided to do this tour.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So, but everything you're talking about, it just happened very, very quickly, in kind of time frame wise.
That's one of the amazing things about Buddy Holly. I mean, it's just everything happened.
He had a career in like 4 years.
No, well, yeah, but even it's really 18 months. Like you talk about the pre-career, the proto Buddy Holly, like that was when he had like his days with Decca really didn't produce very much until after he died, and then Decca said, "Oh, look at these recordings we have," or he became famous. I shouldn't say that. They actually released an album of his while he was still living, and it was his. It was the third album released under his name, but it was made up of songs from those sessions in '56. They weren't new music, and so Buddy Holly only released really 2 albums while he was alive, and there were songs that he did record quite a few songs, and there were singles and things like that after he passed away, they were able to release new music by him. But the way, to me, and just looking at his entire catalog of songs, 18 favorites of mine, I would call them legendary songs in 18 months. The time from 57 from this album to the time that he passed away was like a year and a half.
All right. Well, let's go through the album, and then maybe we can touch a little bit on legacy afterwards.
Sure.
Because I think there's a couple of other things to cover.
Okay.
At that point, but
as far as the album goes, let me jump out really quick. I know you want to talk about the songs, but there is a CD out there from Roller Coaster Records, vinyl and CD, and it was released in 2023, and it's the alternative Chirping Crickets. They took the masters. We talk about masters, right? The original, like literal tapes, and remastered the songs from the beginning. As if it was recorded the day before. And they did a mono mix. They did a stereo mix. They took out some of the overdubs. They took out some of the background singing that sounded possibly a little cheesy. And so if you're interested, you can't get it streaming. I tried. Believe me, I tried. But if you would like to have this, you could buy it on vinyl and CD, and it seems really interesting.
Well, let's go through the album so these people know what they're buying.
All right.
Number
1.
Let's touch on the album. So,
oh boy,
2 sides, 12 songs.
Yeah.
Maybe too many songs for you, or
12 is, well, I think even at the time, 12 was the standard for American albums.
And these are all very relatively short songs.
Very short.
About 2-minute songs.
Yeah.
I don't think he had anything over 3 minutes.
No. And in fact, right, if you wanted radio play, you didn't want it to be probably over 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes.
So, Oh Boy has to, opening up with kind of Oh Boy, I think the first 2 songs are probably, 2 of the more more known songs.
Right, they're my favorites. I mean, I think Oh Boy's a US 10 and UK 3. It's for sure a favorite. If you're a kid in 1958, okay, and you put this album on, the first thing you hear is that whatever that All My Love, All My Kissing, you don't know what you've been missing. In his style, which to me is like rip your face off rock and roll back in the day. Like you are, to this day, that gives me chills.
So the end of my sentence was that it's 2 minutes and Oh Boy is 2 minutes and 8 seconds long.
Okay,
I mean, it's a very
very brief, very
brief
concise
song. We've had songs on this show already that are 11, 12 minutes.
Right.
This ain't no car seat headrest.
It is not car seat headrest. He went, and again, there's
They're
value
tight.
in that conciseness.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of lyrical depth, but
For his
a hook.
A hook for sure.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk about legacy, that you've just hit on another one of his things. Is just his ability to write melodies, his ability to write a hook before anybody really knew what a hook was.
Sure.
That's definitely something that he knew about.
And then 2 is Not Fade Away.
Yeah, Not Fade Away is a Rolling Stone 107. It's in the top. Also a favorite of mine.
Well, it's kind of a legendary song, but not because he recorded it. I mean, it was a the Rolling Stones released it as a single in '64,
right.
And it was kind of their breakout song.
Right. I don't think that's fair to say, though. I mean, the song
and
was...
And then the Grateful Dead played it at like every other show for 25 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
I knew it as a Grateful Dead song.
I think I knew it as a Buddy Holly song. And I think a lot of people knew it as a Buddy Holly song. It does have that variation of that Bo Diddley beat, that dot, 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 dot going on in the background. That's an Afro-Cuban rhythm. He's already bringing in, really it was a Bo Diddley had an Afro-Cuban rhythm that he's borrowing. But you already have, when you think of rock and roll being sort of a merger between rhythm and blues and country, on the second song of his album, there's already something different happening. It was the Stones' first single.
Yeah.
And the B-side of that, by the way, was I Want to Be Your Man, which was a Beatles song. So that's... Yeah. And this song, it did chart in the UK. It was a top 10 song in the UK. Oh, no, I lied. That's the Rolling Stones' first top 10 single in the UK. Yeah. The drums, again, another one of these things, sneaking in a legacy thing here. Innovative in that he was always looking for new sounds. We talked about how the Beatles on Sgt. Pepper were always looking for new sounds and studio tricks and production. That goes all the way back to Buddy Holly. They used cardboard boxes for the drums on this. They to change up the sound and make it different, and it worked fantastically.
So Not Fade Away is, like I said, I knew it through the Grateful Dead, and it was remarkable going back and listening to this, how close or how true to this the Grateful Dead really were. Then it wasn't, the Buddy Holly song is 2 minutes and 23 seconds. The Dead didn't do anything for 2 minutes and 23 seconds. This was one of their...
This is one of their jam songs.
Yeah, so it was,
For sure.
So but it was cool to see that the essence is still the song, this song.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. All right.
Number 3, You've Got Love, is the Roy Orbison we talked about.
Yeah. Good song.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe Baby, 4th. That's a US 17 and UK 4. More of a rockabilly song featured in American Graffiti.
Yeah.
And
well, that's my whole take on this whole album. I mean,
American Graffiti.
Well, American Graffiti, Happy Days.
Sure.
I'm not. I mean, to me, this is oldies music.
It is oldies. Well, nobody's going to deny it's oldies.
I know, but this was the oldies stations were what was playing Buddy Holly. I was off on some other stations.
Of course.
So this is not my jam in music. I appreciate the legacy. Like appreciate going back and seeing the Grateful Dead.
Yes.
How they're true to it. I love the Stones. But I mean, some of these got listening to this over and a few times to try and not be that guy,
Right?
Because you're talking about Buddy Holly,
Yes.
right? And understanding the legacy, understanding Clapton saying that,
This was the first stop
hearing
bought.
Buddy Holly and seeing him play a guitar changed his life. It was like, this is the future of music. This is what I want to be.
Right. This was I believe, the first album he bought, and the Fender Stratocaster, which is, there's basically two popular guitars in rock music. You have Gibson Les Pauls, and you have Fender Strat. Well, Gibson and Fender.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gibson was probably the more popular guitar at this time. For some reason, Buddy Holly had himself a Fender Stratocaster, and that's what Eric Clapton played.
Yeah.
And it became
probably cheaper.
I don't know about that, but it's the signature sound. Yeah, it became
Yeah.
a signature.
So I
guitar.
mean I struggled with this because it's oldies music, and
Yeah.
by the time I got to 6, 7, it became same old, same.
Well, I think it's okay to say that. I don't. First of all, there's clearly oldies music, and what your liking is for oldies music, I don't know. Let me skip to one more song, because this would hopefully get you to flip the album over. It's "That'll Be the Day," which is the 7th song.
Sure.
And that was his only U.S. #1. It's a U.S. one and a U.K. one. It's a Rolling Stone 124th ranked song, and it's in the National Recording Registry. So this was the biggest his biggest hit. And as I said, this is the one that he re-recorded from 1956 to escape a record contract.
Yeah. And it's a good. I mean,
yeah.
If I can listen to anything, it would be that song. Yeah.
And it was the first demo recorded by the skiffle band The Quarrymen. Do you know who the Quarrymen are?
Yes, I know.
Yes.
The Quarrymen
In
are.
1958, that was their demo, which had John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison.
Just had to get this.
I had to.
Skiffle in.
I had to.
All right.
And that song sold 1 million copies worldwide at the time. It's a massive song.
Instead of the Maestro music, you want to be like the skipper of skiffle?
You could throw that in there. I don't, until you accept it, until I'm just trying to educate the uneducated, those with closed minds, those with...
I don't know where you pull some of this stuff.
So, because it's part of music history that for some reason you just won't recognize. I don't know why you can't recognize something as important as this. But to your point about, half of these songs on here do sound like oldies.
Yeah.
And they're not my favorite songs. Okay, the songs that I like are the ones that sound like Buddy Holly. And that's Oh Boy, Not Fade Away, Maybe Baby, and That'll Be the Day. Those are the 4 songs on this album that I think are elevated beyond, where you're taking music in a different direction than even the rock music of the day, like the rockabilly oldies sound.
Yeah.
These are the songs to me that are even beyond that.
Yeah, I'm just, every time I hear stuff like this, I'm just disappointed the music doesn't fade out and Fonzie isn't standing there, That's all I want out of this music is Happy Days.
I have no words.
All right. Any other song on here you want to
no, those are really...
highlight?
Yeah, I mean, you've got Looking for Someone to Love, which is not a bad song. Honestly, the last are... they are sort of 50s-ish standard type songs. Send Me Some Lovin' is a ballad recorded by Little Richard. Probably I'm forgetting one of them that I really like. Rock Me Baby was written by Shorty Long, and he went to write and produce at Motown Records. And I think his most famous song actually is Devil in a Blue Dress.
Sure.
So that's the thing. There's one in here that I was really hoping... Last Night is kind of a slow doo-wop ballad, and again, doo-wop is sort of a precursor, early 50s. but his voice really shines in this song. You know, so even though I don't like the song that much, to listen to him sing this is really, I like it. The one I was trying to pull is the song "It's Too Late," the fifth song, and it's a Chuck Willis cover. Chuck Willis wrote this song. He
From Wheel of Fortune?
Who was that? No, I don't. Chuck
Game
Woolley?
show? Whatever. Different guy? Woolery?
Chuck Woolery.
Yeah.
No, different guy.
Yeah.
But he wrote C.C. Rider, and if there, he had all these dance crazes like the Stroll. This is sort of a country gospel ballad. Check out the original on this one, because Chuck Willis recorded it, and it's fantastic. And if you want to talk about covers, Derek and the Dominoes covered this song as well, and which is of course Eric Clapton.
Right.
And that's a song that I think out of all the out of the ones that I said are like, to me, Buddy Holly songs, "Oh Boy, Not Fade Away," "Maybe Baby," and "That'll Be the Day." The other song on this album that I would have you take a second listen to is "It's Too Late."
Got it. All right. Okay. So interestingly enough, the song that got me to kind of go back and listen to Buddy Holly in earnest the first time is not a Buddy Holly song, but a Don McClean song.
American Pie.
Yeah, and I don't think we can get, through the first Buddy Holly kind of mention in this podcast without paying homage or reference to Don McClean's American Pie.
Yep, The Day the Music Died.
Day the Music Died, which, mentioned, it talks about the plane crash, the death of Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and Richie Valens.
Yes.
Which I think really did so. I think in a more of a historical side, to me, that plane crash was monumental in more than just we lost kind of one of the first kind of rock and roll icons.
Yeah, and you said it, I think maybe off camera, I'm not sure, but he was in the process of changing music.
Yeah,
or
he was, but his death changed music too, because Elvis was off, coming back from the army and wasn't quite Elvis yet again.
Right.
And then Buddy Holly created this space, and then the void happened with his passing.
Yeah, to me it was almost like the second wave of rock and roll.
Well, and that space, I think, gave room for the growth of the rock era, the birth of the rock era. That gave room for Clapton and
well, I think you're
Bob
talking about the
Dylan
British.
right,
well,
right.
To me, it's the British invasion.
Well, but it's also the blow up of Greenwich and what was going on in Canada at the time coming around. And
right.
It gave room for those folk music to
for
kind
sure.
of
I mean,
come
it's been
take
written
space.
that people have said Buddy Holly. Like, if you think of the people that were rock stars back then, people like maybe Chuck Berry or Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, and of course Elvis. I mean, they had massive personalities on stage. They were kind of almost glam in some case. Like Little Richard, probably the first glam performer, So they all had these massive personas. And Buddy Holly was this nerdy guy with glasses. And so when everybody else saw this, they were like, I could do that. I could, I can't, you know what I mean?
But I think the day the music died, Don McClean was really, truly, I mean, that is the truth.
Okay.
And it left that kind of gap in music that led to the,
so what came next?
Gave space for the rock era to truly take hold.
Okay.
All right,
Can I give you a trivia question? It's probably the most famous Buddy Holly trivia question.
Right.
And you probably know the answer, but I feel like I have to say it. Do you know what country star was supposed to be on that flight? He was playing bass for Buddy Holly. Waylon Jennings was playing bass for Buddy's band, and he gave up his seat to
the Big Bopper.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
so he avoided that.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, so we gotta.
Yeah, no, I realize that.
Yeah. So, legendary album, perfect album,
Landmark album.
Landmark,
Yeah, for
sorry.
sure. Yeah. So I know we change it every
Yeah.
show. It's to me not a perfect album. I have, as I said, That'll Be the Day, Maybe Baby, Not Fade Away, Oh Boy. Like those four are killers. Not Fade Away. What did I say? There's 2 Rolling Stones top 500s, although I think Not Fade Away dropped off the list. It was a previous. First rock and roll album credited to a band instead of an artist. Set the standard instrumentation of that we talked about. Innovative recording techniques. We talked about its influence on future influencers.
Yeah.
This is a landmark album for sure.
Yeah. I also would say it's not a perfect album. I do think it's a landmark. I think he is a landmark.
Right.
No pun intended. I think he's
I wasn't taking it that way, but
All right.
thanks for clarifying.
I think he's a marker in the industry. He's the changing of an era.
Yes.
And it's a pretty good place if you're looking at the history of rock and roll to say here's a turn in the road that begins the highway of the rock era. So
Yep.
All right.
I have pages of stuff. Don't tell me all the things we didn't talk about because we just got to move on.
yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot there.
Yep.
I know.
So that's fine. Let's keep
So
it.
now we're already over an hour in this show.
Wow.
Yes. So let's we got a live read.
You always. You know how you talk and blather on? It'd be nice if you said, right after I'm going to babble for 30 seconds and then do a live read. You could work that into your act a little.
Sure.
2 Fat Guys in an Album is sponsored by Deeper Connections Counseling, helping people connect to themselves, the people they love, and the world around them through individual and couples therapy for Illinois residents, both in person and online. More information at dcctherapy.com.
We unfortunately talk a lot in the show about death. We talk about mental struggles, people who battle substance issues, and taking care of yourself is super important. Taking care of your relationships, is step 2. So if you're in Illinois and you got you want somebody to talk to, struggling in a relationship, struggling with something going on in your life, you're worth it. Take the time, reach out. These are wonderful people to talk to. So, good friends of ours, and we're happy to have them as a sponsor. And feel free to call them with your needs. All right, well, we are on side 2, I believe. Oh no, we got a couple other sponsors. Then we'll be right back.
Hey, 2 Fat Guys in an Album fans. This is Diane Blackburn, realtor with Baird & Warner and proud sponsor of this podcast. I pride myself in being committed to serve as a trusted real estate advisor for all my clients. Whether you're looking to sell, buy, rent, or lease, feel free to reach out and let's chat about how we can work together to make it happen. If you're watching, scan the QR code for my website or give me a call at 630-638-1999. See you on the flip side.
Are you someone who needs help with their Instagram or TikTok? Well, you're in luck. LR Media is here to help. Email me at laurarose2003@aol.com to get started. Let's make your social media shine.
Welcome to side 2. So this is where we kind of talk about what we're doing, what we're listening to, and the last couple of shows we've been actually trying to do more of an album review, something that's, if we come across an album that I think is worth talking about that's new music, just released, just dropped, and we have one of those today. This is a favorite band of mine. I know it's a favorite band of yours too, although I would love to see them live again, and I don't think you're going.
I'll go, but
you're gonna
grudgingly.
Grudgingly.
Yeah.
So this is Counting Crows' new album, Butter Miracle, The Complete Suites.
Yep.
Which is a weird title for what the album's about, but
Well, there's a story to that.
all right. I'm sure there's a marketing guy. I have to say I'm now this is their first album in like 8 years or 9 years or something.
Yeah.
A long time.
Yes, Their last
11 years maybe.
Their last album was 2014, Somewhere Under Wonderland.
Yeah, so like 11 years.
Yes.
It was worth the wait, man. This is a great album, although I don't know if I spoiled the ending here, but I think in my opinion, this is a weird tribute to Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, I heard the same exact thing.
It's like
I heard the same exact thing.
Change the voice and it's Bruce Springsteen, the East Street Band. I think Bobby and the Rat Kings is Jungle Land.
It is Jungle Land. I literally have written down that I really wanted to hear Clarence Clemens on this song.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I'm like listening to this song, I'm saying this is where the sax solo goes. Where's Clarence? And actually, I would have loved to have had that even bigger production, like that E Street Band production on that. The album's great. I love the album. And even though I gave a sort of a tepid about going to see him live, I love this band. I love the Counting Crows. His stage demeanor is off-putting to me, and that's why I say I'm hesitant about seeing him live. I've seen him live twice, and both times I felt like his stage demeanor was not what it should have been.
I saw him also had a bad stage day, but rightfully so because I was mad at the audience as well. So I was with him. But, right before, so Bobby and the Rat King, yes, looking for Clarence Clemens there, but the song before has a wonderful trumpet solo.
It does have a trumpet solo. We're going backwards, are we?
No, but I'm just...
well, that's literally the only thing I wrote down for the song, trumpet solo.
It's a good song, also very Bruce Springsteen-y.
I think there's several songs here that are Springsteen.
Wasn't a saxophone, but you got a trumpet. So
I'm pleased with the trumpet solo. It was, and it actually boosted it to a favorite for me. It was like I think the songs alike, but then the trumpet solo hit, and I said, this is a favorite. So if I can get to the suites, the complete suite thing, okay, because you're sort of going backwards on this. Last four songs are a suite. SUITE. They are a musical suite. And they were released in 2021 as an EP. Right. And that EP was called Suite 1. I think that it was called Butter Miracle Suite 1. And
Sweet spelled
SUITE,
the
musical way. And I remember listening to it and kind of being meh. Elevator Boots was on that, which was the big single at the time, and I liked the song quite a bit. But the rest of it was uninteresting to me, to be completely honest. And I tried to go back and re-listen to the EP, but it's not on Apple Music. It seems like it's been pulled off because they redid the songs for this album. Yeah. And they improved them. I think he felt like these songs weren't good enough. This was sort of a written in COVID type album, even though it's released now. And so they went back and sort of rewrote what was going on, and the rewrite's fantastic, I think. They have seven previous studio albums, all went at least gold. This band sold 20 million albums worldwide. And when I talk about I wasn't a big fan of Nirvana in grunge, it's because I was a fan of this. I was a fan of the Counting Crows. Yeah. This is where I was in the 90s. This is where my attention was. No,
I definitely have always liked the Counting Crows, but so if we just to kind of talk to a few on the first half of this album.
Yeah.
With Love from A to Z, I think is very much a Counting Crows song. I mean, that sounds like old school Counting Crows.
Yeah, I love the great opener. Like, this is a great opening song. You play it, you're like, what am I in for? I'm going to check out this album. I got to review this, whatever. Okay, you turn it on, and it opens with this great guitar opening.
Right, it is.
And then the drums kick in, and then Adam Duritz starts singing, and then you throw in a B3 organ. I'm just kicking back. I'm like, they've got me hooked. And there's a great reference to Curtis Blow in here that they just snuck that in. There's a line called "Curtis Blow Your Trumpet." Curtis Blow is the first commercially successful rapper and the first rapper to sign to a major label. So he snuck that in, but it did not get past me.
Yeah, I agree. It's very much a Counting Crows song, in my opinion, with maybe a little bit more guitar, but it's very good.
Completely agree.
And then I think the next song is going to be a classic on my list for a long time.
Spaceman in Tulsa.
Spaceman in Tulsa is really, it's one of his kind of character stories.
Yes.
It's very, very good.
Yes, it's a great song.
I love when he just he does these, he tells the stories about somebody, and that's also very Springsteen. Bruce does it a lot,
right?
But here this is, Boxcars is next. I also, it's a good groove song, some good lines in there, a little southern, twangy kind of thing, feel vibe to it. Finds mom and dad and a couple of kids staring at a screen.
Yeah, makes it easier on you, makes it easier on me. This is specifically a COVID song, I think.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a reference to people ignoring chaos and just being staring at a screen.
Virginia Rain is okay.
I love it.
Yeah,
I really do.
Has a good line.
Which line do you like?
40 years of your devotion and my shame.
Yeah. Yeah, there is, and Adam Duritz, speaking of mental illness and everything, I mean, he's openly discussed his battles with mental illness, and this. I think he feels like he's in a much better place in his life.
Yeah.
And I think you hear it in some of these songs. It comes out.
Yeah.
No song like a lyric like that to me speaks to that.
And then the kind of drop down to the last four songs is your suite you were talking about.
Yeah, you're skipping Under the Aurora. To me, Under the Aurora is the most 90s sounding song. You don't like the pretty songs so much. You don't like the ballads so much. I love Under the Aurora.
That's one of the strings.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's got a da 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 ending at the end. You can sing along with. Like when you go see him in concert, I'm sure you'll be singing along with this. And he is touring on this album, by the way. This is what he'll be. I don't know if he's doing the entire album, but
him or they.
They.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam Duritz is the Counting Crows.
Wow.
Except for David Immergluck, who was a member of Camper Van Beethoven at one time. But Adam Duritz is the writer. He's the singer. He's
the heart and soul.
Now, having said that, I think this has had a fairly consistent lineup. This band.
Yeah. Do you hear Springsteen and his other stuff? I mean, this was just. I mean, the last four songs.
Bobby and the Rat Kings even has a reference to a motorcycle in it.
No, I mean, I get it that these scream
Springsteen.
Yes. This is just. It's not a ripoff, but it's an homage to Springsteen, or it's
certainly influenced.
Kind of. Bobby and the Rat Kings.
Yeah.
Is
the other
Jungleland.
Right.
But my question was going to be, have you heard Springsteen in the Counting Crows music before?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that was where I was going.
Yeah, I don't think
this kind of came out of nowhere.
Right. No, and I've never listened for it before, but this just punched me in the face.
Well, yeah. Even the titles of the songs.
Yeah, like I said, I'm literally sitting there like, where's the sax solo?
Right,
heard, and it has like the tinkling piano, where everything comes down except for the piano tinkling. And I mean, that's total Springsteen.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say, in addition to that, I look at the last 4 songs also as sort of a Ziggy Stardust thing, like a Bowie Ziggy Stardust thing going on. Because again, you talk about inventing these characters,
Right.
and the last 4 songs are kind of about a rock star and being on the road and performing. And Bobby and the Rat Kings is for sure, obviously, a fictional band that we're talking about.
Right.
And if you go back and you could throw Spaceman and Tulsa into that storyline if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But the last 4 songs sort of create a fictional band and the experiences of that. So I do have a Ziggy Stardust feel to it as well.
But I mean, those songs are so good.
Yep.
So this is really a good album. I mean, how many fat guys you giving it?
So I'm giving it 9 fat guys.
Yeah.
The only thing, there's nothing really super new or innovative about it, so that keeps it from getting a 10 really. In my book. So it's not because I don't like it, it's just I don't think it's hit that super elite level. It's almost a double perfect album for me, meaning no skips, every song a favorite. Boxcars for me is just a like, not a favorite. But it's pretty darn close to what I would call a double perfect album. I love it. If you're a Counting Crows fan, you will for sure love this album.
I would even say if you're like old 80s,
90s rock, that era. This is good as anything they've written. It's as good as the first couple out, August and everything after. It's a terrific album.
No argument there.
Yeah.
So that's a fantastic album. Let's can we wrap that up?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. I got one other kind of weird thing I stumbled upon. I was at a trade show and big major trade show down in out in Denver.
Okay.
This week, and one of the guys who was helping set up the show.
Where you were too busy to see Sister Hazel at Red Rocks?
I was too busy.
Okay.
The Rockies were in town. I was even too busy to walk over there.
That's unfortunate.
Walkable.
Yeah.
But one of the guys that actually does the physical setting up of all the giant pieces for the show is a fan of the pod.
Oh, great.
And he was talking to me about...
Hi, trade show guy.
Yeah, Keith. Shout out, Keith. Right, you rock. Was talking about vinyl and the vinyl he has and whatever, and I would say the overwhelming majority of my vinyl is gone. I know you still have a lot of your vinyl.
Yeah, I kept all of mine because I can't bring myself to get rid of it.
No, well, I had a flood that ruined a lot of covers,
right.
and
so
I was kind of done with the whole thing. I'd like to rebuild it, but he was talking about, I think back in the day, and he said, you could look this up on YouTube, but people were fixing skips
on their vinyl.
And I never ever heard of this.
Okay, I wasn't.
So it's like
I just went out and bought a new album.
Right, but some of these you can't get anymore.
No, I know, but if you can, so you're saying
that they would take a needle and like a pair of magnifying glasses, and
fill it in.
Yes, and re-straighten out the skip where the scratch actually was between the two. I'd never ever heard that, and they would just rub it out, basically rub it back to a point.
So is there like a millisecond where it's silent?
I have no idea, but I figured the Maestro of Music would be a good research project to go figure this out.
Well, I would need really it. Well, when you get your turntable, maybe we'll experiment.
Scratch up your records.
Well, I've got records that are scratched.
Yeah, so I don't know. We got the equipment in there. We'd probably figure it out.
Okay.
But I was just curious if you had ever heard of that.
I'd not ever heard of it, and I've never tried it.
Yeah. So, any comments out there on that one? Would be fascinating to hear it. I believe you still have a standing challenge.
I do.
Out there.
Well, the challenge has ended. Okay, because we gave 2. So, since we're talking about Canadian bands, apparently, do you realize you've picked 3 Canadian bands? By the way, in the 22 shows we've done, and I think I picked. I'm not counting Rush, because first of all, I think I picked them, and secondly,
Wouldn't stick to your hypothesis.
they're international. Like they're yeah. But you picked we're going to talk about the Tragically Hip.
Yeah.
And the New Pornographers.
First, right.
And another band. Oh, this one. The one that gives me nightmares.
The Sheepdogs?
The Sheepdogs.
Oh, dude.
Which you recommended to me.
I like the Sheepdogs.
It was your recommendation, and for people that aren't familiar with the show, we choose albums, and I try to choose good albums.
So one of us picks the main album,
right,
and then the other one picks the second, the Beyond Classic Rock album,
right,
and we flip flop.
Yeah, and I go with the premise that I'm going to pick an album that I think is important or good. Sometimes we used to call it a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm not allowed to call it that anymore. But albums that you maybe aren't super familiar with. They're not in that canon of the classic rock. And this album,
Sheepdogs,
Changing Colors
by the Sheepdogs.
Right. You can talk it up all you want.
It's just a fun album.
The voting is over.
Still a fun
album. You can
album.
talk it up all you like.
I listened to it again on the plane. It wasn't.
You fall asleep on the plane. You listen to 2 songs and fall asleep. This is the problem. And then you tell me what a great album it is, and I have to listen to 17 songs that are essentially Allman Brothers remakes, like B-grade Allman Brothers songs. And it was horrible.
I understand where you're coming from. I tend to disagree. It was a fun album. I was just trying to bring some fun into your life.
You know how I react to fun. So, the point being, the voting unfortunately is closed, and you can stop campaigning. It's just going to take a couple weeks for us to catch up to find out if you've got the 10 votes you need before you get a retaliatory album pick.
I'm optimistic. I don't know what the results are yet, but I'm optimistic because our numbers have been skyrocketing here. So
that's true.
It'd be much easier to get 10 people.
Well, they're going to need to
and actually thank everybody for listening.
So they're going to have to go backwards, though. Well, no, they can't.
No, it's fine.
The voting is closed.
They're fine.
Yeah, sorry about them.
Yeah, all right. Time is weird in podcasting.
Right, we are. Right, we're in a time-space continuum.
Yeah.
So at any rate, I'm curious to see how that turns out.
Okay.
I'll be happy with it either way, to tell you the truth.
Right. Yes. So let's flip this album another time to side 3 after these announcements.
This episode of Two Fat Guys in an Album is brought to you by Smidge Films. If you're looking to bring your ideas to life with some cool cinematic work, Smidge Films has you covered. From brand stories to promos, we'll help you tell your story in a way that really sticks. Check us out and see what we can do for you.
Side 3, Beyond Classic Rock. So this is another album we're going to look at that I picked.
Yes.
Proudly picked. And it's by a Canadian band.
Because you're sucking up to our 0.7% demographic in Canada.
We do. 0.7% and growing.
Yes.
And growing. We appreciate all our Canadian friends.
Thank you, Canada.
This is the Tragically Hip.
Yes.
The album is fully, completely from
1992.
1992.
Yes.
Yeah. I very much enjoy the band. I very much enjoy the album. I actually weirdly stumbled upon them. I did not know them as an entity in '92 or whatever.
Okay.
But
not many Americans did.
Correct, and it's kind of interesting how they never
broke through.
Never ever,
Right.
And the only way I learned about them was they were on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, all right.
And Dan Aykroyd was hosting, and according to the story Dan Aykroyd tells,
Canadian comedian Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, and according to when he was negotiating to come host, he said the only way I'm doing it is if the Hip.
How about that?
Is the band, and so they brought in, and that was the first time I heard them, and I'd have to look back on what year that was.
All right.
But the other thing is they panned when the hip was playing.
Yes.
And like Chris Farley and like all the Canadian guys were just all in the side.
Yes.
You know,
Oh, for sure.
side stage just with their jaws dropped.
Right.
That the hip was right there playing. So
Yes.
it was just so cool.
No, this band couldn't be more massive in Canada.
Canada.
Yeah, they're.
And this album was pretty.
It was a
like-
diamond album in Canada. Diamond. Do you
That's-
know how many albums you have to sell in Canada to be a diamond album? A
Apparently like 200,000.
a million.
Million?
A million.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
So there's only like 30 million people in
so it-
Canada.
right, so
that's
it-
like one per family already.
right.
Yeah,
so
that's impressive.
So a U.S. platinum album is 1 million units sold. A Canadian platinum album is 80,000. So 80,000 units sold in Canada will get you a platinum designation. Maybe we should move the podcast to Canada.
It's also kind of they pandered well to Canada because there's a lot of like Canadian themed
Right, and
stories.
Right, and I think you want to take that back. I don't think pandering is the word. I think they are
Oh,
deep down, like they are. As
they're
Canadian
writing
as it
about
could be.
their
Yeah, but
their
when you
people,
say
their experience.
pandering, you're
Yeah.
saying like if they were panderers, they would have written more American stories
Yeah,
to get them
yeah.
to cross over. So
Yeah.
I don't believe this.
I think there was one in here.
I don't believe this was a band of panderers.
Yeah.
So they are considered wholeheartedly Canadian. They
Oh,
are the
absolutely.
pride of Canada.
Yeah.
When the final concert that they performed,
I guess we should explain why it's the final concert they performed.
well, he sadly passed away from
Gordy.
brain cancer. Yeah, Gord Downey, who is the lead singer and primary songwriter, amazing frontman, just terrific.
Yeah.
I actually loved seeing him perform.
Well, because he's like not the prototypical frontman. He's like I don't
Canadian.
Well, yeah. Wow. You might want to take that back. No, but it's like if a band was playing in a bar and the lead singer didn't show up and they got a guy off a bar stool to come up.
That
you
would
know,
be
it's-
him.
that
That's
would
the
be him.
look.
Yeah, it is just like a guy.
So his first, they actually their first two albums were sort of bar band type
Yeah.
albums.
Yeah.
And this is the first time, this is their third studio album, I believe. And they made an effort to be more produced. And they found the producer, Chris Sangarides, I believe, who, quote, put a platinum polish to hard rockers Thin Lizzy and Judas Priest.
Yeah.
So they found a guy that was going to hopefully get them to
Breakthrough.
break through, right? To me,
And it didn't really happen. They stopped.
it didn't happen.
They after like 2 weeks they pulled the plug.
Right? They
in
just
the US.
said it wasn't. It was obvious
Yeah.
it wasn't going to happen
Yeah.
for them. But perhaps because it's so Canadian, it's
Right.
like. But the album to me, with the very first time I heard it, like from the first song.
Had you ever heard it completely before
This album?
Yeah.
No, I've heard of the Tragically hit. I could not tell you a single song by them a week ago. So no, I knew of them. Couldn't tell you anything. I think they got a fair amount.
All right.
You know, we listen. I listen to like alternative rock. So
Yeah.
so back in the, it would have gotten some airplay on the stations I listened to, but I don't remember it standing out to me.
Okay. So this is this is cool because
This
it's
is
very
almost like an
fresh,
album review.
fresh eyes.
Fresh, very fresh. Right.
Fresh eyes on an old album.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of have known about them for at least a decade.
Okay.
All right. So go on.
Well, I was going to
And
say, the very first song, "Courage for Hugh McClean,"
a Canadian
right-
author.
a Canadian author, right away, I'm like, this sounds like Thin Lizzy and REM, like put together, you know. And then when
Yeah.
I found out later that it was the producer for Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
The other comp I would have for them might be Cheap Trick. Okay.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think that's a very good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think Gord Downey's vocal style is very Michael Stipe, very REM. So he has this sort of alternative sound.
Yeah.
But the band is sort of a straightforward rock band.
They are. And he's this chill kind of.
And he's this chill
Like
guy.
he doesn't quite fit in. Like they just found him on a bar stool.
But he's a wonderful singer.
He is a wonderful singer.
So I did get to see his final concert, which I was talking about. It featured 3 encores. It was performed in his hometown. People are weeping. I mean,
So he knew.
they knew at the time.
They knew it was the final show because he was going to die.
Right.
Because he had
terminal brain cancer.
Yeah.
Right. So it was known that this was it and that he was ill.
Yeah.
And he performed wonderfully.
He
Like
did.
he was not ill on stage. This was watched at the time live by 11.7 million people, roughly 1/3 of the Canadian population.
Yeah, think about that.
But I watched it and I thoroughly enjoyed it and thoroughly enjoyed the entire concert. He does dress like when you say he's like this guy off a bar stool, he has stage presence.
He does. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I just recall seeing him on Saturday Night Live, and it's like,
Was he wearing like a weird hat or
No,
outfit
he
or
was just-
anything? Okay, so
just a guy. You know. It was
Yes.
just-
So on
yeah.
this performance, and maybe he grew into.
and maybe the hat was the cover.
It's possible,
Yeah.
but he was a bit more flamboyant.
Sure.
And as I said, he did capture my attention.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great voice.
Yeah, it's a great voice. So, first track, Courage for Hugh McClean, Canadian 10. It's a favorite of mine. And this was the highest charting song in the United States, but not on like the Billboard 200. It was like on the mainstream rock charts or something. It's like a secondary chart. But it did chart at 16 in the U.S. on like one of these secondary.
It's a good song, but it's a good story. I mean,
Yes.
This story is about the name in there. He's an author. He wrote a novel, and it's
As authors are wont to do.
yeah, but it's an old. Well, you could be a novel. You could be an author
And not write a novel.
You write stuff.
It's true.
And it's the book. I don't know if you're familiar
No,
with the
I
book
don't.
he wrote. So he wrote a book about a couple that were having some problems. Her husband died in like World War I, allegedly, and they got married. So he was like the best friend,
And then he undied.
and then the guy showed up.
Yeah.
So now there's 3 of them.
Yep.
And it's kind of a weird,
Awkward.
very awkward.
Yep.
Kind of the end of the Willis movie that I can't think of.
Ghost.
No, Castaway.
Willis.
Wasn't the volleyball's name Willis?
Tom Hanks? I thought you were
Tom
talking
Hanks.
about Bruce Willis.
No, Tom Hanks.
Wilson.
Wilson. There you go. Because it's a.
This is
Wilson
why we don't do
volleyball.
movie podcasts.
Yeah. And anyway, so it's an
Or
interesting.
book reviews.
All right. So the second song.
Yes. Looking for a Place to Happen.
Yeah.
Song about Canadian colonialism and westward expansion.
Yeah. It doesn't play well in the U.S. Yeah.
Well, so the 100th Meridian is actually the one that I like
Oh my God!
most.
It's phenomenal.
And that is also like an ode to the Western Plains,
Yeah,
and same idea as looking. It's almost a partner song to Looking for a Place to Happen, and he's very vocal about support for the First Nations.
Yeah. Right, sure. And if you want to just try a song, if you don't have a whole lot of time to invest here in an album or a band, at the 100th Meridian would be my recommended.
I think so.
You
Yeah,
recommend it.
this would be my. Check out the Tragically.
Yeah,
book.
it's a good place to begin.
Yeah, it rocks. I think Neil Young would love this song.
Yeah.
It's totally, it's a really good song. And then, You like the next two.
Oh, 4 is Pigeon Camera and 5 is Lionized. I think they're Pigeon Camera cracks me up every single time.
All right.
I listen to it. It's phenomenal. And Lionized is just a good fun song.
Okay. And then Locked in the Trunk of the Car. Where does that come in on your fun meter?
I just
A song about dead bodies and murders.
yeah.
and
I skipped
things.
down a few.
Okay.
I think the 50 Mission Cap. I think is the next one.
Okay, I like Fully Completely is okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, that was these are the singles from the by the way, The Courage, Looking for a Place to Happen at the 100th Meridian, Locked in the Trunk of the Car was a Canadian 11.
Yeah.
Fully Completely did not chart, and then 50 Mission Cap was a
Yeah.
top 40 in Canada. 50 Mission Cap. So this is a song. So this is a weird song to me because it talks about two completely
Three
different
things that yeah.
Which I don't
know how they tie together either. It's like
I don't think they do.
a hockey player and like a bomber, like a
Kind of.
So
it's a song about
a bomber pilot.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian,
So I guess they both wear caps.
if you really want,
That's all I got.
Yeah, Brian Barilko was a Toronto Maple Leafs player who scored.
Tragically died, right?
Yeah, after scoring the the cup-winning goal, went on a fishing trip, died in a plane crash.
A lot of plane crashes.
Yeah, so I mean it all.
So that was like
right.
that was like in the 50s.
1951, and
Don't fly in the 50s.
we are learning something. Yes.
Yeah.
And but they couldn't find his body. Like they couldn't find anything. He just disappeared. And
Did he show up?
Gord
Did
Downey.
his wife remarried and then he showed up.
I don't know. That's no.
All right.
But Gord Downey said it's just like the Amelia Earhart story, except everybody's heard of Amelia Earhart.
It's good.
So yeah, and then they discovered his body in 1962. Okay, 11 years later, which is when the Leafs won their next cup.
So they should maybe throw him back in.
Maybe, I don't know.
Lose him again because they
Lose-
haven't won
and
in a
then-
while.
Yeah, it's been rough. They've had
Yeah.
a hard time.
Yeah.
And so they played this song at Leafs games as part of the warm up.
Oh.
It's a
Yeah.
popular song.
Nice.
But the second part of this, like, what does that have to do with 50 Mission Cap? Nothing. So the second part of the song talks about a 50 Mission Cap, and that's a hat that pilots wear, and it's just their bomber cap. And the song talks about how they crush their hat up to make it look more worn and used, so they look like more experienced pilots. I don't know if the combination of pilot and plane crash maybe is the link in his mind. I couldn't tell you. I don't know that he's commented on it. And he is fairly well known for having disparate threads in his songs.
Sure.
So he just I think he just randomly throws words together sometimes, which seems to work really well in Canada.
Cool. Do you want to anything else you want to mention about the song, or anything you want to?
Yeah, I say so when Downey died in 2017, the New York Times wrote this. The place of honor that Mr. Downey occupies in Canada's national imagination has no parallel in the United States. Imagine Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, and Michael Stipe combined into one sensitive, oblique poet-philosopher, and you're getting close.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty good.
So, yeah. So I think if I was Canadian, I would love this band.
But
Well, but I'm not, and it's very like I feel like these songs don't have that universal appeal. Like they're almost too specific, and in general, I'm not a fan of just, as you know from say the Sheepdogs, I'm not really a fan of just straight rock stuff. As much as I like Cheap Trick, maybe because they're not only American but from Chicago.
Chicagoland. Yeah.
You know, I think that's the connection I would need. And even Cheap Trick, there might be a dozen songs that I like, but I don't necessarily like everything by them.
So you're not recommending this album?
No, I think it's fine. I think it's cool. I think if you've never checked out the Tragically Hip, go ahead and do it. If you live in Canada and you haven't, shame on you.
Yeah. Wow.
And I did really enjoy watching the final concert. I watched the whole thing in preparation for
What
the
year
show.
was that?
It was in 2016.
Yeah, I think he died in 2017.
He died in 2017.
Yeah.
And so
this is from like the 90s.
This is from 1992.
92.
Yeah,
Okay,
and so this is another album, I think I may have alluded to it earlier, that really flew in the face of grunge.
Sure.
Grunge is going on in the big thing. So this is, this album wasn't grunge, like intentionally not grunge,
No.
Good
old rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't hate it.
No Allman Brothers references at all.
No, none.
Yeah.
None. But I think, I think check them out. At the 100th Meridian is the song that I like the most.
I'd start there.
The concert video is really cool. I think he's a great front man. I love his sound. And I did pull 3 favorites out of this.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very happy. Very happy with you. I like the first 5 songs. I've been a fan of those for a while. It's a fun album. I caught my I was listening to it again just to make sure it was fresh in my mind when we were talking about it, and I caught my wife actually bopping along to the 100 Meridian.
Yeah,
It's
a catchy song.
It is. So
Yeah.
and she generally dislikes a lot of the music I do.
Right.
So
Can I throw one last thing in
All right,
here
then we
before, because
gotta-
I know we're wrapping it
Yep.
up. Between 1996 and 2016, they were the best-selling Canadian band and the 4th best-selling artist in Canada during that time. Okay, the other 3
Yep.
Canadians during that time that were more popular than the Tragically Hip.
Neil Young, Brush.
Neil Young's dual citizenship. I'm not sure he counts. Shania Twain. Michael Bublé,
Oof.
Celine Dion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You're in company.
there it is.
Very cool. Okay, so we're going to flip it over one more time to side 4. This would be where if we had a 4th sponsor, this would be a great place for it, but we don't. So you can contact Smidge Films if you're interested in supporting what we're doing here. Otherwise, it is now on side 4, and it is your time to rank the album. So we are going to rank the Crickety Crickets, or
The
Chirping Crickets
By the Crickets.
by the Crickets.
Yes.
In our towering list of now 22 albums.
All killer.
Oh, yeah.
all killer.
It's the who's who of albums.
Right.
Yeah.
By the way, if you want it like an all killer, no filler Buddy Holly, that has all those songs, there's like a what do you call a compilation album, which you banned me from using because it
Can't
wasn't
do
a
it.
real album, and I understand that. But if you can find the compilation album, it's got all the hits on it. It's really, that's the way that I enjoy it the most. But at any rate, so the Chirping Crickets, this is super. This list. First of all, you're the guy that likes to make lists.
I do.
I don't like lists.
Love
So
lists.
I'm just playing along for funsies here and to give you things.
This
to
is
make
not the
fun
show's
of.
list.
It
This is
c-
just
right.
the
You've
Maestros.
You always have to make sure to mention that.
Mhm,
You don't want the 2 lists to be confused.
No, this is the Maestros list.
Yeah. Sgt. Pepper still number 1. Moondance still number 2.
You don't need to mention two.
As far as the Chirping Crickets go, this is a tough one because it has a ton of historic importance.
Yep.
Like massive historic importance. But it really only has 4 songs on it to me that are of that critical importance. So the album in its entirety is not, if you get what I'm saying.
Yep, I do.
Yeah. So I'm have trouble like placing this in the list because the top part of my list is sort of reserved for the legendary landmark albums.
Sure.
And then the ones below that are great albums, but maybe don't have that weight behind them. But this album just doesn't have enough it's got filler. It's not
Sure.
all killer, no
Nope,
filler.
nope,
It's
nope.
got filler on it. So it's going to end up 16th on my list. It's going to end up behind Automatic for the People by R.E.M., and it's going to end up ahead of Discipline by King Crimson.
Which is not a bad place to be. I don't know. You know, for me, it's just going to be a debate on, you know, is Sting doing...
Did it beat Dream of the Blue Turtles?
Did Sting doing Jazz beat it out or not? So
Not a
we'll
jazz album.
we'll have to wait till the show speaks here in 8 more shows.
So it's a fantastic
Yeah.
album.
So
I actually-
16th was that?
16th. And I don't think I got to say this in all the 4 hours that we've been talking. But Buddy Holly is my favorite of the early rockers. So
Okay.
so I love
All right.
Buddy Holly.
He loves Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly's shirt on.
Got it.
All right. So thank you. Our next show, we're going to cover Who's Next by The Who. So
That's gonna be exciting.
That's my pick, and we'll have to wait and see what you come up with for
Yeah.
our Beyond Classic Rock segment. With that, we'd like to thank our director and our production team from Smidge Films, Chauncey there, our PR team from LR Media, and our sponsors, Deeper Connection Counseling, Diane Blackburn from Beard and Warner Real Estate, Realtors?
Both of those things.
All right, those things. Yes. So, like us, subscribe. We'll let you go after this epically long podcast.
But if anybody deserves it, it's Buddy Holly.
He's just,
If I could make this go just a little bit longer.
wow. I'm Fat Guy 1.
Fat Guy 2.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Mary had a little lamb. What was all the nonsense that you said?
Huh?
That Mary had a little lamb.
Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
But there was more.
Her father shot it dead one day. and
No,
Mary
it followed.
began
No,
to
that's
cry.
definitely wrong. Is that really a
Now-
verse?
Now she takes it to school between 2 slices of rye.
Did you make that up?
No.
Is it a real verse?
No.
Somebody. But you didn't make it up.
I did not.
Did your brother make it up?
No, it was the rhyming guy.
Rhyming Brek?
Hey, you know, I tell nursery rhymes. Whoa. He was a comedian in like the 80s.
Oh. Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good impersonation.
Thanks. You knew who I was
I
talking
knew
about.
exactly who you were talking
Oh, that's going to end up in a clip.
My love bigger than a Cadillac.